As our 3-year-old Noam put it, having the parsha this week, Yitzchak is not a baby anymore. It's time for him to get married. And indeed, in this week's parsha, it is time for Yitzchak to get married. And so Avram wants to make sure everything is taken care of. He goes to his trusty servant and he says, please find a suitable bride for my beloved son Yitzchak. But there's one condition, proviso: under no circumstances will you take a bride for my son from among the local daughters of Canaan. Rather, I want you to go take a journey, go back to my ancestral homeland, Aram Naharaim, and find a young woman there. But no one from Canaan. And it doesn't quite spell out what the issue is. We pick up later on in the Torah that from the Torah's perspective, the people of Canaan are uniquely wicked and corrupt, and therefore unsuitable for partnering in the creation of the people Israel, what would become people Israel. And so no one from Canaan. Let's go back home to Aram Naharaim. And Barbanel poses interesting question. He says, look, I mean, were the people in Aram Naharaim that much better? He says, at the very least, they're idolaters, right? And that's why Avram left. That's why Avram had to leave his family and his culture and his society behind to go off into the wilderness and start a new people. He's on a new philosophy, an entire new way of thinking and relating to God and the world. And his family and friends back home were still mired in idolatry and the deep shame of idolatry. And so was there really that much of an advantage of getting a woman there? Why don't you just take a local woman and then hopefully she'll come along? And in trying to work this through, Barbanel appeals to a piece from the Drashot Haran. This is what he says. Ki mitzvot ha'averot asher b'Torah heim al beis panim. This is all mitzvot and averot of the Torah, good deeds and bad. They come in two kinds or two modes. There are some which leave a mark in both the body and the soul, even imprint. Kamido to kamasim, like actual actions and modes of conduct. Mehem asher yasu roshan b'nefesh bilvad. There are some mitzvot and avera which only leave a mark on the soul, like aspects of belief. Things are supposed to believing the right things or the wrong things. That's a merely spiritual matter, but it doesn't leave any effect on the body. And so he says the people of Canaan, it wasn't just that they believed the wrong things or they had the wrong philosophy or ideas. The problem was that they were actually cruel and mean and bad, and they were marked by Sinan and Kama, Zariyut, cruelty and vengeance and hatred, Ziman, sexual illicitness, Kilut, and they were miserly, essentially non-generous. And he says a culture like that, where there's an actual concrete of meanness and cruelty, says that leaves a mark. It's hard to get out of that. May not be impossible to come back from that, but it's hard. And so Avram is wary. He doesn't want someone from that kind of family or that kind of culture. But the people in Aram Naharaim, like, you know what? Look, they've got the wrong ideas, and it really is. It mattered that they had the wrong ideas, and Avram had to leave. But so they've got the wrong ideas. They believe the wrong theology. They don't believe the right things about God. They're like confused about first causes or whatever. But they're fundamentally good people. They do the right things. They care about each other. Their culture is marked by kindness and generosity. And so it's just, look, if they've got the wrong ideas, that we can fix. You find a good young woman and we'll bring her, she'll come around. And someone like that can absolutely, we can see as being at the foundation of what we're hoping for from the people of Israel. And so, like, abstracting from the vaguely racist framework that the race science framework that Barbanel's working in, and thinking about just our relationships with other people and other communities. I think nowadays, and just certainly on the internet, and I think among people, about how to relate to people with really powerfully different philosophies and points of view. And what comes out of this, first of all, is that, like, yes, philosophy really matters. Ideology really matters. It really matters that we think about things the right way. And you may even have to leave a community and start something new in order to get things right. But also, also, ideology is fundamentally superficial. And it's always something that can be changed. No one is beyond hope just because they think things that you think are awful. Just because somebody has horribly pernicious views doesn't mean that they can't come around to believing something better. No one is ever beyond hope. There's always the possibility of reconciliation with people who just happen to believe things that are different from you, even if you're 100% certain that you're in the right. But that may presuppose an underlying framework of kindness. Cruelty, on the other hand, point number 2, if someone or if a community really is marked not just by, I think, the wrong ideas, but really by cruelty and meanness and like actually hurting people and actually acts of oppression and structures of oppression, that's like, again, maybe it's fixable over time. Maybe things can be reformed. But that's not a simple thing anymore. And it may be the right thing to say, I'm just going to take a step back and I don't want to be a part of that right now. Thinking positively. So again, yes, we can and we should. If somebody's wrong on the internet, go on the internet and try to turn them around, try to convince them, try to persuade them, and bring them around to believing the right things and joining the forces of good on the intellectual and spiritual plane. Absolutely, that matters. But what really matters is what comes out of this. What really matters, the fundamental thing, and what makes that work of persuasion for the good possible is cultivating relationships and communities of kindness and love. It's if the actual material conditions of our relationships are marked by generosity and caring, that we have a hope of persuading those who don't see the world the same way as we do to come around to the side of the good as we see it. Getting the ideology right will come, but it will come after we've achieved relations of actual material, concrete kindness and love. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos.